Hello, everyone, and welcome to Speak English by Listening. I'm Emily.
And I'm David. We are very happy to have you join us today.
In this podcast, our goal is to help you improve your English listening skills. We know that listening in a new language can be difficult. Many English learners find it challenging to understand native speakers. Sometimes the words go too fast or the accent is unfamiliar.
That's absolutely true. It can feel overwhelming sometimes, can't it? You might catch some words, but not the whole meaning. Or maybe you struggle to follow a conversation when people speak quickly.
Exactly. But don't worry, you are not alone in this. And the good news is there are many simple, effective ways to make listening easier and more enjoyable.
Today, we're going to share some practical strategies that you can use right away. These are tips that really work to build your comprehension and confidence over time. So let's dive in. Our first strategy is perhaps the most important one. Make English listening a daily habit.
That's right. Think about it like exercising. You don't get strong by going to the gym once a month. It is the same with language. Consistent daily practice is key.
Yes, exactly. And the great thing is, you can incorporate English into your daily life without it feeling like a chore. For example, listen to English podcasts during your commute or while you're doing housework.
Or you could watch short English videos or TV shows while you eat lunch. Even 10 or 15 minutes a day adds up over time. The goal is to make it a regular part of your routine.
And do not forget about conversations. If you have friends who speak English, try to talk with them in English regularly. Even short chats can make a big difference.
Absolutely. When you expose yourself to English consistently, your ears become more familiar with the sounds, the rhythm, and the natural flow of the language. This consistent exposure helps you build a lasting understanding. It starts to feel much more natural. Building on that consistent exposure, our next point is about how you listen. It is not enough just to hear English. You need to engage in active listening. That is an excellent point. What exactly do we mean by active listening? It means you are not just letting the words pass by. You are listening closely and you are thinking about what you hear.
Yes, exactly. When you listen actively, try to understand the main ideas first. What is the overall message? Do not worry about every single word at the beginning.
And also pay attention to the tone. Does the speaker sound happy, sad, or serious? The tone can tell you a lot about the meaning, even if you do not understand every word. Also, try to pick out the meaningful words, the ones that carry the most important information.
Beyond how you listen, it is also important what you listen to. We recommend using a variety of English media.
That is so true. Try different things, podcasts, of course, but also movies, audiobooks, or even news broadcasts.
The reason for this is that each type of media and each speaker offers different accents and speech styles. One day you might hear an American accent, the next day a British one. This variety trains your ear to understand English spoken in many ways.
It helps you become more flexible in your understanding. So if you usually watch movies, try listening to a news report. It will challenge you in a good way. Building on that, once you have chosen your varied media, another excellent tip is to adjust the playback speed.
That is right. Sometimes, especially when you're just starting, natural speech can feel very fast. Do not be afraid to slow it down a little bit.
Exactly. Many apps and players allow you to play audio at 80% or 75% speed. This can make a huge difference in your ability to catch words and phrases.
It really does. It gives your brain a bit more time to process the sounds and connect them to meaning. You can gradually increase the speed as you get more comfortable.
And it also prevents you from feeling overwhelmed or discouraged, which is so important for consistent practice.
Absolutely. When you're less rushed, you can focus better. Now, another powerful tool to use alongside your listening is text.
You mean pairing audio with transcripts or subtitles?
Precisely. Whenever possible, try to follow along with transcripts or subtitles while you listen. This creates a strong connection between the spoken word and the written word.
It is incredibly helpful. You see how words are spelled, and you can confirm what you thought you heard. It clarifies pronunciation and helps with vocabulary.
Yes, seeing the words written down can unlock understanding, especially for words that sound similar or are spoken quickly. It really builds that bridge between listening and reading comprehension.
So, slow down the audio when needed, and always try to find accompanying text. These two strategies work together to significantly boost your understanding.
Building on those great strategies, once you have listened and perhaps even followed along with text, what about those parts that are still difficult?
That is an excellent point. You will definitely encounter challenging sections where the words seem to blend together or the meaning is unclear. Our advice is do not just move on.
Right. Replay those challenging sections. Listen to them a second or even a third time. Your brain needs that repeated exposure to process and understand.
Exactly. And when you replay, pause often. Specifically, pause to note down new vocabulary words or phrases you hear. This is a very active way to learn.
Once you have noted them, do not let them just sit there. Try to practice using those new words. Say them out loud. Try to form simple sentences with them. This helps move them from just understood to usable.
That is so important. Active practice helps them stick in your memory. Now, speaking of what to listen to, we often suggest using authentic English content.
Yes, absolutely. What do we mean by authentic content? It's not always about perfectly structured lessons. Think about real-world conversations, for example. You could listen to simple children's shows, which often use clear, repeated language, or, if you can find them, recordings of everyday dialogues between native speakers.
The goal is to mimic natural speech. When you hear how people truly speak in everyday situations with their natural rhythm and pauses, it helps you understand real-life English much better.
So replay those tricky parts, caption new words, practice them, and make sure you are also exposing yourself to how English is spoken naturally. These actions really build your comprehension.
All these strategies are very helpful, but it is important to remember one big thing. Improving takes time. You need patience.
That is so true. It is not something that happens overnight. You might feel frustrated sometimes, but persistence is key. Keep going even if you feel like progress is slow.
Exactly. Even if you understand only parts of what you hear, that is perfectly fine. Each little bit you understand helps your brain start to recognize patterns in English speech.
Think of it like putting together a puzzle. Each small piece you get, even if it is just a single word or a phrase, helps you see the bigger picture.
Regular exposure, listening consistently, even for short periods, really builds that pattern recognition. It makes it easier for you to hear and understand new words and sentences in the future.
And as you slowly recognize more and more, your confidence will grow. You'll start to feel much more comfortable and capable when listening to English.
So be kind to yourself. Celebrate the small victories, like understanding a new word or a short sentence. Every effort counts towards your overall goal.
So when we talk about improving your English listening skills, it really comes down to two main things: consistent exposure and active engagement.
That's exactly right. It's not just about listening a lot, but also about listening with purpose, trying to understand and really thinking about what you hear.
Building on everything we've discussed today, here is one concrete action step for you. We want you to choose one new English audio source this week.
Yes, just one. It could be a short podcast episode, a children's show, or even a short conversation. Listen to it with a goal.
For example, your goal could be to identify 3 new words or to understand the main idea of a specific paragraph. Pick something manageable.
And if possible, use subtitles or a transcript. Replay any challenging parts. Remember, this is about active learning, not just background noise.
Putting these ideas into practice, even in a small way, will make a big difference over time. Take that step today. To wrap up today's episode, we want to leave you with an inspiring thought about your learning journey.
It is a quote that says, "Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out."
This really speaks to what we have been talking about. Each little bit of listening, each time you try, it adds up.
Exactly. It's not about one big jump, but many small, consistent steps. Every step moves you forward.
Now, before we go, we also want to explain 3 useful words that we use naturally in our conversation today. This will help you expand your vocabulary.
The first word is consistent. We talked about consistent exposure. Consistent means doing something regularly, always in the same way or happening often. So, consistent practice means you're doing it often, not just sometimes.
The second word is engagement. We mentioned active engagement. Engagement means being involved in something, being attentive, and participating. When you have active engagement, you're really focusing and thinking about what you're listening to. You're not just letting the sound play in the background.
And the third word is manageable. We said pick something manageable. Manageable means that something is possible to deal with or control. It's not too big or too difficult for you. So a manageable task is something you can do without too much trouble, and you feel good about trying it.
We hope these tips help you on your journey to improving your English listening skills. Remember, every little bit of practice truly helps.
Keep listening, keep trying, and keep growing. Your progress might be slow, but it's always happening.
Thank you for listening to Speak English by Listening. If you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, please remember to subscribe to our podcast.
And we would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment or a question wherever you listen to podcasts. Your feedback helps us improve.
Until next time, keep listening.
And keep growing.